I love having tea. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the Club Soma YouTube channel. My name is Steph. I'm a somatic therapist and founder of Club Soma, and I'm here to help women get exactly what they want. Today, I'm going to be talking about connecting to your sensuality, being a sensual woman, and what that means. How you can connect to this through ritual in your everyday rituals and everyday life. And I'm going to be taking you through these stages of the arousal response and the importance of understanding the arousal response in connecting back into your body and connecting inwards, and the importance of this response in your healing journey. All of these concepts really underpin the creation of my ritual kit, the Club Soma Ritual Kit, which is a somatic toolkit for your home. And I'm so freaking excited to be talking about this. I have been hinting about it on my stories on Instagram, but I wanted to create a more educational, formal video explaining what this all is. And I came up with the idea for ritual kits in December last year, and I've been working on this since then. I used to do a series called Sunday Rituals on Instagram where I'd go on live every single week and do a little 5-minute practice. And I just loved the response that I would get to those little practices, and women saying they really look forward to it. And even just in those 5 minutes, they got so much out of it. So I just knew that this kit was going to be so important for women's healing and connecting to their bodies. I've been working with RMIT University with the most brilliant industrial design team on this kit, as well as myself and a somatic sexologist psychotherapist, to ensure that every single part of this kit is so incredibly intentional and designed for your healing, for your connection to your body, and starting this process of connecting to your body, because I know the power of this work, and to be able to give women that experience in their own homes is just insanely magical, amazing. So the kit's going to have different tools within it and different rituals that you'll be able to do, and it's going to take you on a particular journey, but I won't give too much away. But every single part of this kit, we've been thinking about, what is the women's experience going to be? How are they going to be able to connect to themselves more? What do we want them to, finish with? How do we want them to relate to themselves at the end of this? Every single part. And I just knew that especially there was such a gap for this type of kit, I guess, with this much intentionality behind it. Of course, you can buy different things for your rituals, but there wasn't really like that segue into, for example, a lot of women who are like, okay, I want to connect to my pleasure, to sex, but I'm deeply afraid of my body. So something like a vibrator might be too much. And this is really that segue into understanding your body and sensation and what actually feels good for you. And all of that helps you, start your healing journey and start to unravel the threads of conditioning that we have as women about our bodies, about what it means to be sensual. So much of the patriarchal conditioning that we have as women impacts our everyday lives and keeps us small, keeps us stuck in cycles of, people pleasing, of taking on too much, of, being the mother, the caretaker in our lives. And it leaves women incredibly lost, incredibly empty. And I just know the power of this work. And especially when we talk about sensuality, I have a bone to pick with, feminine embodiment spaces that describe sensuality or women's sensuality or being a sensual woman as this big, explosive, like overly sexual thing that's perfectly polished and perfectly put together and performative. And that is just not what sensuality is. It is absolutely not. And I think we need to be able to connect to our own version of this, of what being sensual means. Sensuality is a connection to your senses, to your feeling, to your emotion, to touch, taste, smell, and having that connection throughout your entire day. So much of our day is spent being numb, being shut down in a, stress response, in all the things. We forget about those little things that give us pleasure every single day. If I don't see sensuality as like this big explosive thing. I see it as like, if you imagine like honey dripping through your body, like that's a sensation that you have every day, all the time. Because you're just feeling everything. You're, responding to every single thing, and it can feel like a lot, but that's what reminds you of what it's like to be alive, to be a woman. And that's how it was always supposed to be. And if you imagine, sensuality is like you're waking up in the morning, you're having your coffee, you're enjoying the taste, you're loving every part of it. You're having a tea and you're feeling the steam on your face. You're feeling like, for me, it's like the ginger and the lemon touching your tongue, going down your throat. Or you're, going to the gym and you're feeling yourself like sweat and burn, but it feels like, like you're really taking care of your body and you're listening to your body. I imagine it like with pleasure, you're taking it really slow, you're taking your time, you're not rushing through it. And that's how you go through your life. You're enjoying going to work and loving the work that you're doing. You're making people, like being able to help people in a really authentic way and being in service to people. Or like baking a cake and you're tasting the frosting and the batter and you're taking pleasure in your friends and family enjoying what you've created for them. This is what sensuality is, not this patriarchal, hyper-sexualized view of sensuality. And you get to make it your own and make it authentic to you. Whether it's like painting your body or, for me, it's like cuddling my dog or, the joy I get from eating something spicy. I'm like, oh, it just like takes over my whole body. I'm like, get so much joy from eating. And, we've just gotten so lost into what our definition of sensuality is. And all those things that I described are rituals, and your rituals can be your own. So I didn't want you to wait too long for the kit for you to start creating your own rituals at home. So I have created a sensory profile quiz. And this quiz will help you in understanding, it'd be like a map for your body. So you can understand what you're really drawn to, what maybe you steer away from like a sensory point of view. Do you like certain textures? Do you like certain smells? Do you like music? Like, what's your sensory profile archetype? And at the end of the quiz, you'll get given an archetype. You're maybe the alchemist, the oracle, the siren, the dancer, whatever it is for you. And you'll also get emailed a rituals guide. So each archetype will have a set of rituals that you can take into your everyday. And I will also be sharing online different rituals that you can do and do like a little rituals challenge, which I'm really excited about. But I also wanted to take you through the arousal response and the steps of the arousal response. The importance of this in connecting to your senses and just understanding your body on a deeper level and what's happening in your body. And this arousal response is what has built each ritual. And it's also connected to our hormones and our cycle as women. But I wanted to take you through a practice first so you can feel the arousal response in your body. It's all well and good for me to sit here and talk, but we got to actually start to do the work and start to actually feel in our bodies. So I want you to take a comfy seat in front of you. And if you're sitting in the car, just doing the best that you can as I talk through this next little phase. And just starting to close down your eyes, adjusting in the seat if that feels good for you. And I'm going to get you to feel the root of your spine, feel if it's tensed up, starting to relax that, relaxing your stomach. As women, we always have our stomachs sucked in because we're told to suck it in. We relax them here at Club Soma. And I just want you to close down your eyes. And we're going to take a breath together. I want you to feel the breath at the base of your spine, pulling up your back, and on the exhale, making a sound that feels good to your body. So taking a deep breath. Exhale. Notice if you struggle to make a sound. That's another little thread of our conditioning. Keep very small, keep very quiet. Don't say anything. Don't ruffle any feathers. We stay very sweet and quiet. No, we make sounds here in Club Soma. We use our voice. We open up our throat. So again, from the base of your spine, pulling all the way up your back. Sound that feels good to your body. Feeling your body relax into the space. Again, noticing the root, your belly, your jaw relaxing, sinking deeper into the seat. So this is the first stage of the arousal response, the rest stage. Nothing's happening just yet. We're just noticing the sensations in our body. Maybe you're feeling yourself feel a little bit more relaxed. Noticing the jaw, the belly, the root. And I want you to notice what happens in your body when I say the words sex and pleasure. What happens in your body? What sensations do you notice? Do you feel the arousal pulling up your throat? It might feel like a shooting up when I say sex and pleasure. This is the second stage of the arousal response. This is the excitement, the first pulse, the desire. Our body's anticipating something. And now I want you to start to roll your hips and keeping the breath. Taking a deep breath in. Exhaling a sound that feels good to your body. Keep rolling your hips around, keeping your eyes closed. And just holding the words sex and pleasure. Feeling what's happening in your body, feeling the anticipation start to build, feeling your heart rate starting to increase. Maybe you're feeling more sensations in your hips, in the root. Just feeling as we go through that next stage of the arousal response, which is the plateau. This is when the arousal starts to build up in our body. And it builds up, builds up, builds up. The anticipation is building. It's a yearning, it's a longing. We're waiting for that break like a wave. Keep staying with the sensations. And then I want you to stop with the rolling of the hips and just putting both of your arms in the air. Taking a deep breath from the base of your spine all the way up, and on the exhale, saying, yes. And again, both hands up, deep breath in. Yes. This is the fourth stage, the release, the wave crashing, the orgasm, the climax. We're feeling our hormones starting to drop. Maybe you're noticing sensations in your body. And that moves us on to the final stage, which is integration and clarity. So taking a last breath together. Sound that feels good. This is the 5 stages of your arousal response. And the importance of knowing this response in your body, in your everyday life, is so key into understanding who you are. So when we think about the arousal response, if we take it in the context of, if we say work, you may get an email that's really urgent and stressful that puts you into that arousal, into stress. And you're building and anticipating, and it's going up, up, up into the plateau, but it may go even further up into what's called hyper-arousal. This is your stress response. This is fight or flight. This is when the heart is racing, your blood pressure is up, you're feeling that stress response in your body. And if we stay too long in this hyper-arousal, we can dip back down into what's called hypo-arousal. This is when we shut down, disassociate, numb, because this hyper is too much on the body, so we shut down. Sometimes it can go so quickly into shutdown, and it's what's called dorsal vagal. So you can imagine we're never actually getting to the stage of the release, the climax, the wave crashing back down. And if we're doing this every single day, we may be going into hyper, then hypo, never getting that release in our body. That makes an imprint in our cells. That stays stuck in your body. This is what causes inflammation. This is what causes disease within the body. This is what they mean when they say the body keeps a score. So in somatic therapy, I'm taking every client through this arousal response, and we're getting to that release, because what causes the trauma is not actually finishing the arousal response in the body. And you can imagine it's like a hose with a kink in it, and it's building up, building up, building up. And all of a sudden you might explode all over the place and scream and say all these things, or just completely shut down. So if you imagine you come into a session with me and you may be struggling with speaking up, using your voice, you may feel like you go into freeze when someone confronts you. So we will be creating that safety in your body to take you through whatever experience it was that caused you to stay stuck, to not finish this arousal response. We're creating safety to almost recreate that experience. and taking you through the response so that your body can finally have the release. And then you can start to open up the throat, open up your voice, and then you no longer have that emotional charge behind that experience. This is the power of this work. When you can start to do this, you are no longer the sum of the things that have happened to you. You are not stuck in your trauma, in your experiences. There is a way out. And I'm the prime example of this work because I never used to have any confidence. I used to be a chronic people pleaser, very disconnected from my body, from my sexuality, from my sensuality. I was a doormat and I was living life like I was completely numb. When I started to do this work is when I really started to open up my throat, speak, with conviction, with confidence. I started my business and I just knew I had to help women do the same. And you can see with the arousal response, this is mimicked in our hormones as women. If you think about the follicular phase building up, it's that excitement, it's starting to build the anticipation and the plateau, and then we go to ovulation. That is our peak time of energy and our hormones are at their highest. And then if you go into luteal, that is the climax, the dropping of our hormones, and then into menstrual, and then we start again. So you can see the beauty of the synchronicity of this work, and this is everything that has been taken into account when creating the ritual kit. So my challenge to you is to start creating rituals for yourself every day to connect to yourself, even if it's just 2 minutes. And I want you to take yourself through a similar practice that I just took you through in really starting to notice what sensations come alive in your body as you're doing particular things. This is how you start to pull at the different threads of conditioning that you may have, at your beliefs, at your judgments, and giving more safety in your body to be able to release things and get to that point of climax of release. And I would really encourage you to complete the sensory profile quiz in the bio below, which will give you some ideas for rituals for yourself. And I would love to hear what rituals you are doing. But if you're wanting to go a little bit deeper, if this has piqued your interest and you're wanting to dive into somatic therapy, I have openings for one-to-ones available. So please click the discovery call link in the bio and you will have a 30-minute free discovery call with me where we will go through everything that you're wanting to work on, everything that you're wanting to step into, and the woman that you're wanting to step into. And I will take you through a personalized protocol after that. So if you're interested, check out the bio below. And I'll also have some other free resources that you can use. So I have an introduction to somatic therapy guide. And I also have created some Spotify playlists, which are freaking amazing, if I do say so myself, which again is built with this intentionality of the arousal response, particularly with how our hormones are responding through our cycle. So there's a playlist for every single part of your cycle, and it is so magic to be able to connect to yourself in that way, especially like in luteal when you're kind of like the hormones are dropping, you're feeling all the emotion, like you're really taking that time with your body to be able to feel all of it, because that's the point. We're meant to be really connecting back in with ourselves at every single part of the day and just walking through the day feeling more alive. That's what it means to be human, to be a woman. And that's what I'm going to bring to you with my ritual kits. So I am keen to see the rituals that you will create in the challenge. And if you need any support or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But I will see you next week.